What's up, guys? Theocletian here. Just getting back from the mall. It is a really beautiful day. Thought I'd make a quick video. I was talking to one of my friends. He brought up the subject of genetic engineering in humans and whether or not we're playing God, pretty much. And I thought it was an interesting topic, and wanted to make a few short videos on this subject. I think it's particularly interesting. But I thought I'd start out with a little bit of a comparison, right? So whenever people are saying how, humans are playing God by doing X, Y, Z, more or less it comes down to the question of, it's not really a religious question, right? It's more of a question, let me get going here. Oh, that breeze feels nice. It's more of a question of natural versus artificial. What's natural and what's artificial, right? So let's start there. So the archetypical example I'd like to give here is just to imagine a branch on a tree, right? An actual tree, it's not virtual reality or some stupid crap like that. Most people would say that that's natural, that's complete. Oh, this dude just pulled out. Good thing I was going like 5 miles an hour, jeez. But, alright, so there's a storm, the branch gets knocked down to the ground. Again, vast majority of people would say that's just natural, right? It ended up on the ground through natural causes. Nothing to really say about that. So a guy comes along, he picks up the branch. Still, at this point, most people would say that, hey, that's natural, right? Humans are natural creatures, we didn't create ourselves. It's not like a robot came along and picked it up. Not too much to argue over there either, right? So then on the way home, this guy clonks another guy in the face with the branch. And here you start to get a divergence of opinions, right? On one hand, you have people who are thinking that, well, this is clearly artificial, right? He's using the branch for a purpose that nature did not really intend to clonk this guy over the head. But on the other hand, birds use branches to build nests, right? And a branch isn't the same to a tree as a branch is to a bird in terms of its purpose. But most people would say that birds building nests, that's completely natural. So, you can make that extension about humans using the branch as a weapon. It's not like we designed the tree from the beginning to be able to produce a branch so that we could use it as a weapon. That'd be entirely different. So the guy goes home and he decides to make his branch into a more formidable weapon. Takes out his carbon steel knife, carves it down to a fine point, paints it, whatever. Most people at this point would say, hey, that's artificial, right? You could still try to use the counter argument from the example before, but it's not going to win a whole lot of people over. And the idea with this really long-winded example is just to show you guys that it's the same deal with genetic modification, or a lot of other topics related to what's natural and what's artificial, right? It's usually a gradient, not a clear-cut line. And if you think about it, starting with the domestication of animals, whether that's more natural or more artificial, then you move on to the selective breeding of animals and plants, pretty much, for the purposes of like increasing yield, stuff like that. In our modern day and age, we wouldn't think of that as genetic modification, even though it is a type of selection, right? You're looking for the traits that you want and breeding towards those traits. And now jumping far forward, so in the previous two examples, that was more like the guy picking up the branch and hitting the dude, right? And now we have gene therapy and actual genetic engineering. And I guess in the 1970s or so, I'm talking about the single gene replacement therapy. That's more like the guy, he found like some type of natural rock, right? That's the gene therapy portion, a healthy gene. And he uses the rock to sharpen it up. I mean, he's still technically using natural material, but he's using an artificial method. So most people would say, hey, that's artificial. But looking forward with actual genetic engineering with designer genes, that's really where things get crazy. So I'll be talking about that in my next video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Stay tuned for future videos.